thank you very much to the Albany for partnering us on the project. They've given us some space in kind here for us to do our exploration over these 3 days. And this is the second of 2 phases of R&D. We began working together about a year ago on this idea, and we've picked up again this year with thanks to Unlimited. So we've got an Unlimited R&D grant, and we've been able to extend our exploration in some of this work, which, as you'll know, looks at the idea of bringing together movement work and audio description and music and song.
A man sits on a chair. A bolt of red silk is tied around his ankles and fans out behind him in a V-shape.
My first response was more audio description. I haven't seen a lot of pieces for visually impaired people, so the bit at the end where what I was actually seeing was being described, I found really amazing.
So we're going to try climbing and describing at the same time. So you're giving a description of what you're doing, and at some point, Amelia, I want you to pick up the description. So if you listen to what Johnny says, once he's done it a few times, if you can pick up on that.
Cool.
I invert, straddle my legs, and hook my right leg around the silk. I sit up, pull myself to one side.
Then we tried to, in this bit, test whether if Amelia was going up the rope and you could hear her from her voice that she was moving up, whether if she wasn't necessarily talking about how she was feeling, her body was reacting to those actions, but she was talking about something else, which was about her story, you could still, the audience who were visually impaired, could still get a sense of what she was physically doing. You'll have the audio describer in your ear describing something, and it's so divorced from the action on the stage. Yes. So even if you can hear the performer's voice moving up, say something, whether that gives you enough to know what exactly is going on, like they're moving up a silk. So there's that bit of just direct information, you know, which if you don't know that, and you later on you find out, you could get quite frustrated, you know, that you don't have that, you're not being able to build up that full picture.
I hang loose and feel my shoulders slightly crack under the weight.
The Home Office lost my papers and tried to blame me.
If we're doing Johnny's journey, which is much more interesting because he's actually...
The 2 things are working together.
Yes, they work together.
By her just telling her story when she goes, it sort of feels to me like a little compromise of the story.
They'd have no sense that there was anybody going up the rope, unless there's something coming from them.
Passes the silk over her head and reaches up, going to a sitting position before going upside down again and locking on with her right leg.
I've reached the top of the silk. I'm quite tired, but I feel very triumphant.
So do you feel that the visual has been established enough after a few repetitions to take them both off in different directions?
Yeah, and also the visuals are, they're complicated and they're not entirely clear, but for me that doesn't really matter, because I got a feeling that it's technical and hard.
I don't want a bold description of just the action. I want a description that captures the poetry of a human body struggling to get from the floor all the way up into the air.
One of the inspirations for this whole project was the Biwa Hoshi, which they were musicians stroke storytellers, itinerant blind musicians stroke storytellers from medieval Japan, and they would roam the countryside and they would earn their living by performing their stories with their lute, which is a biwa.
So the story starts with the description of sitting on the temple veranda one night playing his biwa was a blind young man named Huichi. He was one of the blind bards who for centuries had recounted the tale of the hike.
Sitting on a temple veranda one night, playing his biwa, was a blind man named Huichi. He was one of the blind bards who for centuries centuries had encountered the tale of the Heki.
It's not basic because you're not using your strength at all. You're just,
It's just counterweighting,
listening, listening and feeling and just reacting to pressure.
Yeah.
When he makes contact with you, you just from the pelvis, but without your feet. Do you feel how your feet pushing through? Yeah, that's it.
Oh,
Yeah?
okay.